What it do, people? It's your boy Beezzy with another episode. You know the vibes, but I got my lovely co-host here. You know the vibes. Listen, y'all. We got a couple good topics for y'all today. First off, we want to start off with a little couple controversy between our two favorite people, Shannon Sharpe and Skip Bayless. Now, we about to get into it. If you don't know, you're about to find out today. So background. Undisputed is a show on Fox Sports 1. Sports analyst show comes on every morning, I believe, 9:30 to 12. It's between Shannon Sharpe, Hall of Fame tight end, and Skip Bayless, sports analyst of the past 2 to 3 to 4 decades. Hell, he's been doing this for a while. Very controversial figure. Shannon Sharpe was also pretty controversial on the field. So it was an odd pairing, but it worked. I think they've been together since 2015 to 2016. That's when they've been on. There's been an airing. And that show has seen major success. It's not the hallmark of Fox Sports 1. I don't know what else people go on Fox Sports 1 to watch. Maybe The Herd with Colin Cowherd. That's the only thing I can think of off the top of my head. But that's really the hallmark of that channel. And as of late, there's been a lot of spit and spat, more than what we're used to. It's been beef. Skip coming at Shay's career. Uncle Shay. He's coming at Uncle Shay's career.
This is just straight hate by a guy who's jealous that he is still playing at a high level at 45 when you had to stop at 35.
Skip, that's what you do.
That's the point.
That's what you do. Every time I call something into question, I'm jealous.
No.
Skip, I did what I did.
I never said you were jealous of Baker Mayfield.
Skip, I did what I did. You make it seem like I was a bum. I'm in the effing Hall of Fame.
Okay,
I got 3 Super Bowls.
So what?
So what?
He's way better than you were.
I'm better than you.
Better.
Skip, what I got to see what you do? You take personal shots.
No, I don't take personal shots. You started it.
Time out. You would take a personal shot at me.
I didn't take a personal shot at you.
Wait a minute.
What are you talking about?
You would take a personal...
Put your glasses back on.
Can I finish? You're willing to take a personal shot at me to say this man is better than me because I say he's playing bad this year?
Well, because you just
Go ahead.
You disrespect him. It's just so. You know what? It's beneath your dignity.
You would disrespect me to support him.
No, well, I'll support him over anybody because he's the greatest player who ever played your game, and it's by far.
Have at it.
Okay?
Take off, bro.
I'm going to have at it because I'm going to have at you because what happened yesterday?
Also, with the unfortunate incident with Darvin Ham that happened. Shannon wanted to also have a monologue about that coming off of Skip Bayless' very, very, very controversial tweets, and he couldn't even get his monologue off.
Good morning, yes.
Morning.
There's been a lot of speculation of why I wasn't on air yesterday, and I won't get into speculation or conjecture or innuendo, but I will say this. In watching that game on Monday night, what happened to Damar Hamlin struck me a little different. As a brotherhood in the NFL, when injuries happen, when we know injuries are a part of the game, I've seen guys suffer ACLs and Achilles tear, but I've never seen anybody have to be revived and fight for their life on the field. So it struck me a little differently because I remember seeing my brother paralyzed on the field temporarily, and he was able to regain focus. Skip tweeted something, and although I disagree with the tweet, and hopefully Skip would take it down, but I didn't want it.
Well, time out. I'm not going to take it down because I stand by what I tweeted.
Skip, let me finish.
All right, okay.
Go ahead.
No, you go.
Go ahead, let's go, Jen.
Okay.
I mean, I cannot even get through a monologue without you interrupting me.
Well,
you could have came back, Skip.
Well, I thought,
Skip, just let.
I didn't know you were going to bring up
No,
this.
I was just going to say, Skip, I didn't want to yesterday to get into a situation where Damar Hamlin was the issue. We should have been talking about him and not get into your tweet. That's what I was going to do. But you can't even let me finish my opening monologue without you interrupting.
Okay. I was under the impression you weren't going to bring this up because nobody here had a problem with that tweet.
No. Clearly, the bosses wanted you to offer explanations, so clearly somebody...
No, they did not have... Nobody...
Let's go, Jen.
Thoughts and prayers remain with Damar Hamlin.
That's where the focus should have been, and not on the football game. Yes, let's go, Jen. Thank you.
And there's been what I noticed is, because I'm an investigator, I'm the investigative journalist of the channel. I looked at Uncle Shay's like tweets, and there's been a lot of tea in there. A lot of tea. There've been a lot of videos talking about how he's better off. It's a lot of things insinuating an oncoming breakup. And we're seeing this live on air. We're just here to tell you the news and react to it.
First off, I understand how that tweet. I just want to go out the way. I understand how the tweet come off with Skip Bayless. Let's keep this a full stop when it comes to people's lives. No matter what game we're playing, just stop it, because the game is not important in people's lives. So that I completely understand. So he deserves definitely the blame, and definitely because, who cares about the game when it comes to people's lives. But I feel like a lot of people are jumping on this wagon because they don't like Skip. And it's not like, I think they were just waiting for an opportunity for him to slip up. And now there's like a whole bunch of people waiting to just get out of his career or trying to dogpile him. Because if you really think about it, he's definitely not the most liked reporter. He's definitely not one of the most liked sportcasters. And I feel like that all this attention he's getting right now, although some of it is definitely justified, a lot of it, a good portion of it is feel like it's just bandwagon because people just don't like him and they're just waiting for an opportunity to slip up. I come to say that is I feel like he made a mistake when he sent that tweet out about what happened with the game. Because the life aside about Darwin, he does have a legitimate point, because the Bills are now can't become even though they had a tiebreaker over the Chiefs, they now cannot have the number 1 seed. And that could come to play when it comes to playoffs. And they could have bye, but now they're going to have to be playing in the first round. So I just want to throw that out. I know when it comes to lives, we don't care about the game anymore, but I'm just saying in terms of his actual statement about the comments, he does make a good point. That's all I'm going to say about that. But
yeah, there's a bunch of injuries that's happened, in the NFL. Shout out to Damar Hamlin. That's his name, right?
Damar Hamlin.
Okay, I just want to make sure I'm pronouncing it right. Shout out to him. I know he's making a full recovery now. I know he's doing a lot better. I know he's off the breathing tube as of right now. So that's really good. That's very good for him. NFL is a dangerous sport. We've seen countless numbers of people go out with concussions. Ryan Shabazz, I know that was his first name.
Ryan Shazier.
Ryan Shazier, when he was damn near paralyzed on the field, and the game's still going on. So like King Du was saying, when it comes to those contexts, I do agree with what Skip was saying. Like, yes, this is, there have been instances in before where people have been in life, not, that of critical state, but in life-threatening positions like that. So I do understand that. However, it is inappropriate to do that because you do not know the situation of the person at the time. So you can't make out these statements and say how you say it, because it can be taken multiple ways. Because again, like, no one knew he had this severe condition and that it could potentially cause him to lose his life. No one knows that. No one knows what happens when someone, just gets injured or they drop to the, no one knows. So, but we have to understand that football is a dangerous sport. It's very dangerous. All the head injuries, all the spinal injuries, all that is very dangerous. So you have to keep that in mind. Like, when it comes to NFL injuries, those are very serious, very, very serious.
If you want a quick rundown, I suggest you watch the movie called Concussion, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. It explains a lot about the football background and concussions. It's a real thing. If you don't know about it, watch it.
And all that trauma, bro, it's like you getting hit by a 300-pound man. Like that's on a consistent basis now. You know what I mean? Like, that's getting hit by a car every day.
Literally.
Nah, bro. So yeah, definitely Skip. I hate that, it peeled out into the Skip, Bayless, and Shannon Sharp dynamic. I think they have a great dynamic. I think they're very funny together. I think they're very polar opposites, which work out. You know what I mean? So I think, and then, they're both professionals to a certain degree. They might push the line, but they do it in their own specific ways. So in that regards, I do feel bad about the dynamic, and I hope, maybe Skip can give a better apology and maybe they can reconcile and they don't have to split ways. But yeah, all in all, I think we just need to take into account that the NFL is dangerous. This is not a kiddie sport. The NFL is very dangerous and a very serious thing.
That's why they get paid the big bucks.
Facts. That's why they get
guaranteed money.
That's why they want all that.
My take on it, kind of the opposite of the other two take. The skip tweet was very distasteful. It was quite disgusting. Only the fact because of the timing. Like what he said, like nothing he said was like unfactual. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't. He didn't lie. He didn't exaggerate the truth. Everything he said was factual. But it was the timing that was everything that was very distasteful. Because at the time that the tweet was tweeted was at the time that they were doing CPR on the field. And we didn't know what happened. We didn't know what happened, but we knew what happened was serious. In short, what happened, Damar Hamlin, when he got hit in the chest, like a very rare phenomenon called commotio cordis happened, when the heart is in decompression, and there's a millisecond when it's going into reset. And when a large amount of force hits the heart during that reset, it causes commotio cordis. Huge shock goes back to the body. The heart starts to have trouble and it's sent into automatic shock, i.e. cardiac arrest. And that's what happened. We didn't know that at the time. We just knew that something was awfully wrong and they were trying to resuscitate him. It was the timing that was very distasteful. Now bringing back into the Skip Shannon things, that's what we are here to talk about. Now, when he said that, of course, there was huge, outlash. And here's one thing about Skip Bayless that we've all been accustomed to. He's been covering the sport for about 40 years now. He rarely takes back what he says. Honestly, he rarely takes back what he says. I knew off the rip once that apology and or tweet to more explain the previous tweet came out, he got a call from upstairs. Because there was no way. Listen, he said a lot of things. I don't think he would go and apologize unless he got that call from upstairs. Because Skip is used to being killed. He's used to being killed on a bi-yearly basis. Everyone has it out for Skip. Let's be for real. And it's for good reason. He's ruffled a lot of feathers. He has. I do agree that people were waiting on this chance to just hop on Skip, rightly so. Coming off this tweet, rightly so. As to question his credibility, I wouldn't go that far. He's been a journalist for a very, very long time, a sports analyst for a very, very long time. So I'm not going to go for his credibility. However, the tweets were extremely distasteful. We all knew he got in trouble for it because he put out an explanation tweet. And then on top of that, the very next day, Shannon Sharpe didn't show up, which was very smart of him. Honestly, I think that should have been Skip by himself taking the heat. And I think that was very important to see what the show would look like without Shannon Sharpe, which leads us into this situation. There's been a lot of disrespect there's been some shots coming from Skip's side. The Tom Brady thing, coming off the Damar Hamlin situation, prayers to him and his family, but more pivoting into
definitely
the show.
prayers for your hate for him.
Pivoting into the show on a much calmer objective. This show's not gonna last long. I give it a year to a year and a half tops. It's not because you can see the visual frustration that Shannon Sharpe has. Shannon Sharpe, his opening monologue was absolutely right, but you can tell the disconnect between the two when he brought up the fact, when him and Skip started bantering, he brought up the fact, and you guys probably replay the clip here, how how upstairs called to take the tweet down, and then Skip was like, no one called to tell the tweet down. I thought we were all under the impression that everyone was cool with the tweet. When I heard that we were all under the impression, that tells me they're no longer speaking outside of the studio. They're not speaking outside of the studio anymore because they're on two different accords of what's happening, and we saw it on live TV. That's huge to see because along with the tweets that we've been seeing him it's been alluding to a lot that, he do better off without Undisputed. And I think he can. If y'all watch Club Shay's podcast, it's very entertaining. And I would like to see him paired with someone else if he does decide to leave. It'll break my heart because it's an amazing show. It is. But I do think when it comes to the dynamic, Skip did push Shannon too far. I do think that's Skip's fault, 100% Skip's fault. I don't think a lot of the disrespect towards him has been warranted.
On the last speaking note, I just want to say I agree with you all. First off, I want to give my condolences to Damar Hamlin's family. Of course, it's a very rough situation, and I'm glad he's making a recovery. Prayers out to him, first off. Second of all, Skip's comments, like you said before, it was just bad timing, really bad timing. Like, when something like that is going on, it's kind of like, I thought about it as if like an intrusive thought. That's something you keep in your head. You don't tweet that. And as you say, he doesn't take stuff back. But for that one, I definitely feel like he got the call to take that down because somebody like actually passed, like he was unconscious. He was gone. Like your heart stopped. So, that's definitely something you don't joke. Not joke, but like you don't comment on something like that on Twitter during that moment. That's something like maybe you talk about later on, or you have your own little private thoughts about that. That's not something you tweet. Not everything needs to be tweeted. So on that behalf, I think Skip was wrong. Skip kind of, needed to kind of just check himself on that part. The other part, I definitely do feel like Skip is really being disrespectful to Shannon. I mean, the comments that he said to him, it kind of came like, not came off, but he did like almost assassinate his character kind of, made it seem like try to belittle him and make it seem like he wasn't all that. That's not cool, especially for someone that's your co-host.
And he's a Hall of Famer.
Hall of Famer. Like, come on, are you a Hall of Famer? Like, show some respect. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like at that, you could joke him. We joke with each other, but like it's getting to a point where it's like, bro, you're going hard. Like there's some truth behind every joke. And that one, you clearly was like going hard on him. So it's just like, Skip, like you got to chill, man. Like, and right now, that's like you said, it's a really good show. And I would hate to see them break up, but truthfully, I don't blame Shannon for acting the way he's acting. If he's upset with him, the disconnect, that's not his fault. He's honestly being a true co-host, and Skip is kind of like playing with him right now. And I don't respect that. So it's like, that's like, if one of y'all came on here and started acting crazy, and it's just like, yo, chill. So maybe this is a wake-up call for Skip. I hope it is. And I really do hope that he sees the error of his ways and maybe starts to change. Maybe he can save the show. Maybe he can. Maybe he needs a written apology. Something. I don't know. But I definitely do agree with what you all said. And hopefully we can see some change in Skip.
Okay, so let's be honest. We do. All right. So I do, like I said, we're all in agreement that what he said was off-putting. And we all agree about that. And we have a little different takes about Skip himself, but we all agree that the tweets itself, at the timing of it was terrible. If we pivot to the actual show, we gotta realize that, let's really think about it. If we gotta say that Skip really helped Shannon's career in terms of being a sportscaster, because no one really was thinking about him until that. Right. Now, what I would say was, because for me personally, I have never heard of Shannon Sharp until this podcast. I mean, until the Fox Sports Center.
Fair enough.
So, I mean, he did play for my team, but beyond that, I would never knew he was that funny. And because of how he got his Fox Sports, it definitely promoted his podcast of Club SHAY. Mm-hmm. And because of that, we have a different outlets of understanding who he is. So if he wants to become independent, sure, he could become independent. But if we're going to talk about him becoming like personally, we can watch like Club SHAY, but if you're talking about him becoming independent in terms of like doing his own show about like sportscasting and stuff, or like just talking about sports and stuff, I'm not sure he will have as much success as he has without Skip, because I feel like Skip, like you said, Skip has been in the sports for a couple of decades now. And because of that, he has a lot of experience in multitude of sports versus Shannon only being an expert at football, but he watched a lot of basketball, as you could say, because his favorite player is LeBron James. And he had a lot of colorful analogy or colorful commentaries, which makes me laugh. But at the end of the day, it's almost like First Take. Me personally, I don't watch First Take anymore because Stephen A. runs his show by himself, and he has like different people come on in and there. But for me, it's like there's no continuity, and like it's not, the level can drop to the floor one day and be like the ceiling the next, and I don't really like that. That's why when they had Max, I really liked it, because there was a lot of back and forth. There was a lot of, if one's not there, the other one's going to be there, unless they're both on like vacation and stuff. Mm-hmm. So, and this goes for Skip too. I don't feel like Skip can make a rerun or like try to revamp it like how he did with Shannon. So I feel like personally, I mean, if he could prove me, they could prove me wrong, or they don't really have to, because who am I now? But I just feel like that without the one or the other at this point in time, I don't feel like they won't have enough success to top it off as they did in previous couple of months.
I agree and disagree with it. I think if Shannon does go solo, he's not going to have the amount of success coming off Undisputed off rip. But how I see the Skip and Shannon pairing is like two ways. I see it two ways. I see 2015 coming into the show, if Skip Bayless was like Paris Hilton, Shannon Sharp was Kim Kardashian. No one knew who Kim Kardashian was when Kim Kardashian was Paris Hilton's assistant until she got her own shine. And then once she got her own shine, people determined that she's a much more entertaining person than Paris Hilton. Paris Hilton's still famous now, but like, where is she now? Another analogy is like, I also see Skip Bayless as like a Tim Duncan. Like his form of sports analyst, the going back and forth, and his takes are starting to become a bit outdated as a way. I don't know how to explain it, but like his type of sports commentary is becoming a bit outdated. And Shannon Sharp really, like the cohesiveness between him and Shannon Sharp really helped provide a new like breath of fresh air. Like you alluded to with Max and Stephen A. Smith, they had like that constant buttoning of heads until Stephen A. Smith just wanted to be the head of it all alone. And it didn't work because it never works.
Yeah,
it never works. It was never, and what I feel like Skip and Stephen A. Smith struggled to realize was it was never just about them, which is why I believe that Shannon Sharp can still go and have a great career and stuff, even more successful. Maybe even more successful than Skip Bayless if he finds the right partner, because it's not just about Skip, or it's not just about Shannon, or it's not just about Stephen A. Smith. It's about the cohesiveness. And Skip is someone who needs someone to have the cohesiveness. When we saw that show, when he did it by himself, it was hard to watch. Like, it was just hard to watch because he's trying to act both sides of the fence when he's really used to just being on one side of the fence and having someone trying to pull him over. And that's where the entertainment comes in. I think that they do need each other, but I don't think Shannon needs Skip not nearly as much anymore now. He can go find someone else and recreate that same popularity, just like how Skip left ESPN to recreate that same popularity with Shannon. Shannon would just have to do the same in a different direction. Now, whether the partners he would choose or the way he would want to go about it, that's the big thing. So,
I do agree with that. I do agree that Skip needs more than Shannon, and Shannon needs more than Skip.
Yeah. So, I mean, shit, we're going to see what happens. Stay tuned. We're probably going to drop another Chick-fil-A and shit break up. You feel me? Shit gets spicy. But until next time, it's your team, Dreamer season, all season. We'll catch you next time.
You want to listen to more basketball content? Look up here.
We got everything you need right here. You feel me? We got anime. We got basketball. We got. Did we stock up on the wall stuff? Hey, listen, we got it all. You feel me? Click right under this jacket. We gonna get you what you need. Ha ha!